episode of the series of my life as a realtor. I'm going to be talking about my first experience of my first clients, my first buyers. Correction, I will say that in my previous episode of the episodes where my first fuck up, those are my first clients, but it was such a bad experience. I literally just cut that out, blanked out, didn't even consider it. So to this day, I don't ever consider that's my first client. The story that I'm talking about with my first time clients are the ones that I find that's memorable. I acknowledge in my mind I acknowledge as being my first clients ever starting real estate. So I'm very, very proud and very happy that my first clients chose me as their realtor. I was in real estate starting out. I was 4 months in when I actually established a relationship with them and became their realtor. I was very, very excited and very happy. I did not expect them to come to me and ask me to be their realtor. I recall meeting up with them at an open house for Michael. And I was doing because I was a new agent, I was doing open houses every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. As a way to get myself started, get used to it. I had to do something. I had to hustle. This was something I really wanted to do. So that's what I did. I was given the opportunity to do an open house for one of Michael's listings, which I spent at least 2 to 3 months doing every weekend. The same listing over and over and over again. And I'll be honest, the listing that I met my clients on, the one that I did the open house for over and over again, was not the best listing. I personally wasn't great for most people that want to purchase a home. If anything, I would steer away from it. The reason why was because, one, the layout wasn't that great. It was literally next to a busy street, although it's a corner unit, which is nice. Although it was on a busy street on both sides. One of the locations for the window faces directly across from a bus stop, and the windows, because there's no privacy, the windows literally you open up to is where the bus stop is. Plenty of people just stand around, it's eye level, and so because of that, people just can peek right through into the window of that unit. So I personally didn't really like it for anyone that walked through. I was very honest with them, or anyone that went through. So yeah, overall, the layout wasn't that great. And even to this day, I don't know if I ever actually ended up selling. I did know it was for that particular unit that I helped Michael do the listing for, doing open house. Whether I ended up selling by him or whether I ever sold or this changed, I just know it was very hard sell. It took a long time. I don't know if it's still a market, whatnot. I don't know if it's ever changed hands or not. But when my clients first came in as open house, they were first-time home buyers. And as first-time home buyers, they really didn't know anything. And I was eager to kind of explain everything to them and kind of did my little spiel. I was like nervous as heck. And I hate talking to people out of the blue. I feel like that's just how I am. Every time I talk to people, I never want to come off as trying to sell them anything. I generally just want to give them information. But, I was told when I first started, it was like, hey, start a conversation, ask them if they have a realtor, ask them if they have an agent, get them talking. But in my mind, I guess you can say I was blocking myself in being genuine, because everything that was going through my head kept training, thinking, oh my gosh, they're gonna know I'm an imposter. They know I'm not genuine. They know I'm trying to just like reach out to them for sales. They just like so clingy and grabby, and I'm just like, oh, I cringe at the idea. And so I really didn't think anything of it. But then the thing is, they were kind of asking questions, and because I was telling them this might not be the right fit, your first time home buyers, you know, maybe you really should talk to a home mortgage specialist and whatnot. And so because of that, we just kind of had small conversations, and I did manage to get their contact information, but knowing me, I wasn't very good at follow-ups with those things, and I didn't follow up with them very much. I did kind of said, hey, you know, how's it going? Is there anything I need? And it just kind of fell off the radar. I didn't hear from them. Because if I'm just that type of person, if I try messaging that person maybe once or twice, if they don't respond, I just kind of wag my tail and just walk away. I see it as a sign of rejection, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not going to bother people, because I wouldn't like if someone kept pestering me all this time with knowing their intentions, just trying to, you know, have me as their client, and if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. So it's just like, all right, you know, I hate pressuring people, so I just kind of walked away from it and everything. Didn't think anything of it. And then 2 weeks later, I ended up getting a message from them. And I was so surprised. And it's like, oh, hey, we actually really like you as an agent. You're very genuine. We could tell that you're sincere. You really look at our best interest. And we really want you to work with us. And we actually found a home that we really, really like. And we want to know what your take on it. And I was so surprised. I was so ecstatic. I was so eager. I was like, yeah, sure, not a problem. And the imposter syndrome hit me really hard, because I had no clue what I was doing. The first time I sold, I bombed it. This is the second transaction I had, and I was so scared I was gonna screw up. And this is this is a little bit older when I first did my deal, where I still had to write everything by hand. I had to write the contract by hand. There was no such thing as entering everything on a computer at that time. Everything was, and then the only way to get things digitalized is if you just scan things and then have it uploaded onto your computer. But at that time, I still had to write everything on hand. I was so scared of getting it wrong because of my first experience, of my first fuck up. And they were kind of asking questions. I was just like, yeah, sure, I know what you're saying. I had no clue what I was doing. Literally, like sending text messages left and right to Arlene and Michael's like, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? This is really bad. And I was so surprised the fact that they were looking at pre-sale, because what they were telling me before wasn't what they actually said that they were looking for. It was so much smaller. It was brand new. It wasn't what they were looking for. But they ended up looking at the home, and when they were doing a pre-sale, the agent actually suggested it's best if you found a realtor yourself to do the contract writing, which is the reason why they actually had me become their realtor, because with this developer, they did not want to deal with any conflict of interest, so they said you should find a realtor. And so I was very lucky, and I'm very thankful the fact that they thought of me and asked me to become their realtor. And one nice thing about this is the fact that this pre-sale, the other side agent, that was helping with the pre-sale, she was so wonderful. She actually helped me and guided me the process of a pre-sale transaction on the buying side. We struck up such a great conversation. We struck up such a great friendship that our friendship ended up persisting after the transaction, which I was so grateful for, so happy. You know, that's another story I can talk about, where I actually was going to consider joining a pre-sale company, the one that she was in. But anyways, in that time when she was writing the contract, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I didn't know the fact that I should be reading the disclosure statement, didn't know what I was looking at. Even when she wrote everything, luckily she wrote everything, and then I was just right next to my client and just reviewing it, and he was signing everything. And one thing I was really grateful for, I had a really great mortgage specialist, and he pulled through and was able to help with the financing to make sure it was going through, because I didn't realize my client's finance situation was very complicated. And again, one thing is, find a good mortgage specialist that really can go to bat for you. That's really great and important as well. And yeah, it just really made the entire process so much better. One thing is, I also noticed when it came to my first buyers was, you know, they told me the reason why we actually asked you to be our realtor, even though we knew you were fresh. I thought I was able to cover that up, but they knew I was super new. They could tell, like, we know you're super new. But it was because they said that I was very genuine, I was very honest, and I wasn't trying to push them to buying something that wasn't the right fit for them. And because of that, of what they told me, made me realize this is the right mindset and the path of how I'm going to work with my clients, work with people, is to be as honest as possible, be as transparent as possible. And having them as my clients, I still have these clients to this day. I'm so happy seeing the changes in our lives together, is that I've never steered away from it. Because of them, because of my first clients, it inspired me and had me understand my purpose on how I wanted to do my business, on how I want to do real estate, how I want to continue on and persist and stay in this industry for so long, is because I value relationships. I value that more than trying to push a transaction more than anything. And so, yeah, so this is the reason why I'm still in real estate now, is this motivation, this kind of concept and idea. It's always about my clients and nothing else. And I'm so glad I have my first clients. I really am grateful for them. They help me really solidify and ensure what I'm doing is the right thing to do for real estate. So stay tuned if you want to hear more stories about real estate transactions and whatnot. I'm happy to continue on with that. Oh, if you want to know a little bit about the pre-sale documentation, everything was written in my hand. I was so frantic that I had to rush back to my office and had Mike on our lead review it for me, making sure I could get it right, because I didn't want to go to real estate jail because I fucked up so bad the first time. I really didn't want to fuck up with this one, and I really knew that we're genuine people. I just wanted what's best for them, and we ended up getting a good deal on the home. We ended up being able to negotiate purchasing an extra. We ended up purchasing a parking stall, which wasn't originally allowed or required for a studio home, and it was such a great location. They were just so happy with it, and to this day, I'm so happy with everything that's went down. If it wasn't for my first clients, I wouldn't be where I am today. So yeah, I just want to talk about that and to say thank you to my first clients ever. I'm so humbled by you and so grateful for everything you guys done. Thank you so much for trusting me, and yeah, we'll talk again, and we'll talk about another episode of My Life as a Realtor and anything else you guys want to talk about. Bye.